Fantastic news. I still remember sitting down at coffee with Bridget and Marisi talking about what was possible. And so to hear today the possibility that happened. And it was right here. To hear the news this morning was fantastic. I just want to give a couple of different shout outs and reminders. First, do not forget Families Worker Fund, sign up. They're looking for folks to help and resource. Second, if you're interested in AI workshops, codeforamerica.org/AI workshops. And then lastly, we will do Foreign Fest again. I know many of you showed up to that, but look out for that in December. I want to start off with just a big shout out to our MCs, Brian and Ariana, for keeping it going all 2 days. Everyone who presented on this stage for sharing their time and knowledge. Big round of applause for everybody on the stage. And then an enormous thank you for the Code for America marketing and communications team, who every year put on such a fantastic summit. And they hate when I have people cheer for them, so let's cheer really loud for Code for America Marcom's team. So I know you all have breakout sessions after this, but this is the last time we're all going to be in one room together. And I have one final story to share. It's actually the prequel to the scalable phone booth of yesterday. And this story is about how the idea of a public phone booth came to be. So in the mid-1800s, no one really had phones in their houses, except for very few businesses did. And so when William Gray's wife fell ill, he ran out of the house looking for a phone, going business by business, and finally found a factory that had a phone. And he runs in and says, "Can I please use a phone? My wife is ill." And the factory owner said no. And then Gray proceeded to plea with them about his wife's illness, was able to use the phone. It was that experience for him that sparked the big idea for Gray that everyone actually should have access to a phone when they need it. And he spent the rest of his life, really that lived experience and his tech skills, trying to figure out whether or not he can figure out a way to build a first public phone. And as it turns out, long after his wife died, and really a career of really bringing his lived experience and those tech skills, in 1889, his vision finally became a reality, and the first public phone was installed in Hartford, Connecticut. Yeah, I think about that story because William Gray knew his why from the very start. As I said yesterday morning, the new digital age will be defined by folks in this room. And it's not by what we build, but it's why we build it and who builds it. And so I hope that when I think about these last several days, I hope that you've been both inspired to hear the whys of people, the worries, the wonders, but mostly I know I've heard the collective desire to get this right. And so I do hope you leave here more hopeful than ever, because if I think about who's in the room, and if we build it, it's going to be an incredible future. I want you to take a look at this map. This is basically represents where everyone came from to be here. Not only in the domestic United States, but we had an international global presence this time. And I mentioned this, or I wanted to put this up there because we've grown. We can make a difference. My most important takeaway, not just from this last panel, not just from the announcement, but the breakout sessions, is we are more than ready to take this on right now. And people are really looking to us. Not just our states and our cities and our localities, but the federal government actually knows what's happening in this stage and in this room. That's because of the hard work everyone in this room has done. So I want you to look around this room and just appreciate everyone who's here, the conversations that have happened, because we're all here for the same reasons. We actually believe this government can work for everyone, not because it's just an idea or a vision, but because we've actually seen it happen in cities and states and agencies in the work that we're doing. So I'm going to leave you with one homework assignment. And this is to know the why of your work, to have a clear vision of what it is you believe we can do. And so I'd like you to keep this in mind as we all leave this room. A new digital age that works for all will. And what I know is everybody in this room will have a different way of answering that. But I invite you to take it with you wherever you go. And when you're in those moments where I know we all feel like we're the only ones doing this work, or will it ever happen? I want you to remember your why. I want you to have a clear vision, because it's in those moments when we feel most alone, that when we just think back to the why, like William Gray did, or we just think back to the vision of what is possible when you invent a scalable phone here in Oakland, never lose sight of it is possible. And the way to get there is reminding ourselves of what this new digital age can be, because we created it together. And so I just want to, again, thank you all for being in this work, and thank you for a fantastic summit.